welcome to another exciting episode of AI Yai. Again, coming to you like we do each week to kind of talk about where we've been, talk about where we're going, and do a demonstration of one of the onboard AI tools inside Blackboard Learn Ultra. Again, my name is Jacob Spradlin. I'm one of the three facilitators in this cohort. Your others are Faith Miller and Elliot Cochran. And I got to say, you guys have been super thoughtful in your responses this week, and we just love it. We're eating it up. But just wanted to kind of let you know where we are. So Sunday was the first part of Module 1, right? It was Lesson 1 inside Module 1. So when we open up Module 1, you've got Lesson 1, which is what is generative AI, Lesson 2, types of generative AI, and Lesson 3, journal entry. That was actually due the previous, the 24th, right? Whereas looking at what was due Sunday is Assignment 2 from Lesson 3 and 4. And that was our case study analysis. So we had you go through, and really it's important to watch those videos and go through the content so that the assignments will make more sense for you as you get to them. But in terms of the case study analysis, we got some good feedback. Part of where we are right now with the case studies that we provided you is we're limited in that there's not, believe it or not, a bunch out there for what we were specifically looking for. So as we get to it, we're going to add. And so I would invite you all as well to think about this, maybe doing your own case study, maybe doing some of your own research and then sharing it out there so that we can leverage it as well. But we will continue to add new studies as they come available to the program around this so that you can get access to them and look at them and comment on them. We really, obviously, what will make this course better, and it's going to continue to evolve and get better, is participation. Because then we can, by hearing from you and getting with your interactions with us, we can make improvements that are needful. Keep in mind, we are going to be improving the course beyond that. So one of the things that I wanted to tell you about is that we've added a unit to the course that you can't see yet, but we're going to open it up to you here soon. And you won't have to do any activities for it, but we're not going to start it until the next unit. But it's called the bonus module here. It's AI Tools for Students. We're going to make it available for you towards the end of this program, so you can look at that content yourself and get access to it. And inside of it, we're going to be talking about different things. We're going to be talking about everything from writing effective AI prompts to AI tools for academic advancement and other good things. So this is a kind of a cool new module that we're developing in the background, but it'll become available for you at the end of the program. You won't have to do the assignments inside of it. Those aren't going to be part of your grade. But we want to give you access to that content that we're going to be giving to everybody else. But that's part of this course, right? AI is improving and changing and doing different things every day. And some things are going out of vogue. And so we'll need to remove those. But we'll take the good and the bad around AI. And I love the feedback we've been getting around that. People have valid concerns in how they approach AI and how AI might or will affect education. And there's value in not only discussing those, but also keep pressing those issues forward so that we can have some sort of an effect on where AI is going in terms of higher education. So I invite you to keep sharing your truth as it relates to AI and where you sit. But as well, I would invite you to try and have an open mind in how you might use it. And within certain guardrails, right? I'm not asking you to have it teach for you. I'm not asking you to think that it's going to be a panacea. I'm asking you to find efficiencies that might work for you, find opportunities that might work for your students, just like you would with any tool. So anyway, and that's just part of this program. So that being said, your stuff that was due on this past Sunday, the 31st, the case study analysis. So that brings us to our next module. That's going to be Module 2, Ethical Considerations in Generative AI. So here's where we start to think about, ethical frameworks, where we think about those issues that are impactful. And then you have another knowledge check that we've got in here for you as well. But the next due date will be obviously April 7th, and it's going to be the ethical dilemma analysis discussion. And so we want you to look at a specific. I'll open up the assignment for you to see it, but we want you to look at to draw on knowledge that you have from this course, as well as knowledge from other places, and try to provide an analysis proposing some solutions and maybe some guidelines as part of this, as part of our growth in the use of this product. We should be thinking about these things, right? So we want you to do this discussion, and you'll see the instructions here and the objectives which we want it to connect to. But this is our next assignment. It's this ethical dilemma analysis discussion. I do realize that we're asking a little bit more from you in this cohort than we have in the others, right? Maybe a little bit more thought, those thought juices start working a little bit more in this course, but we think there's value in really thinking about it and what that means for you in terms of if it does move the needle for you or not. That's completely up to you, and that's okay. But that's going to be our next due date, is this ethical dilemma analysis discussion due on the 7th or Sunday. So keep in mind that's coming up for Module 2. Then, to show you one of the new features, or not one of the, but one of the features of AI that's already on board in Blackboard that you can use to make your life a little easier. One of the more cumbersome things to do when it comes to helping provide feedback for your students and grading your students in an equitable way is to leverage the power of rubrics. Blackboard has a rubric tool that will allow you to not only really define for a student, why they got the grade they got, but it also enables students to see how to get that great grade before they even start the assignment, which I just love. It's like showing them what success is, right? So sometimes we give them an example document that shows them what a good paper is or a good thing is. Sometimes we actually give them the criteria of what's going to be an A on this particular assignment. So rubrics are great for that. The problem being is, writing a good rubric takes work. Or work, maybe not the right word, time. And so we would like you to be able to make that a little bit more efficient. So using your own prompt, right? Using the prompt that you've already come up with for like a discussion, for example, or instructions for an assignment, and maybe even layer in some objectives, you can use the AI design assistant to help you co-create this rubric that you can then go and edit. So for instance, I am here in this particular assignment called the Elements of Design Discussion that lives inside of our certification course. And this is a copy of our certification course, so it's not a real one. But what I can do is highlight my prompt, right? And there it is. There's my prompt. So now, okay, that's fine. What I want to do now is go to my cog for my assignment, which opens up my assignment settings. In this case, it's a discussion assignment. So I'm going to scroll down to grading. And there you've got this thing called Use Grading Rubric. Well, I want to add one. And normally I'd go through the process. I'd add the grading rubric, then I'd have to create it and decide, okay, what's the criteria, what are the rating levels, all that. Is it a points-based rubric, blah, blah, blah. Well, we already have one in the course, but I want one for this discussion, or for any discussion, mind you, but this discussion. So what I might do here is I might choose Generate. Then what it will do by default is it's going to look at a couple things by default, like your course name and other things. So you'll see here, like you've got here the ratings: clarity of explanation, application of UDL principles, engagement with cohort participant points, grammar and writing style, all these things. It came up with this stuff without me adding in any specifics here, right? So I could have. It pulled from the prompt already, so that's wonderful. I actually didn't have to come in here and do that. But I want you to see something here. It has already created a rubric for me with 4 different rating levels and 4 different criteria. Right now, I can adjust those, right? I can have it create one with less columns, less rows, higher complexity, lower complexity. Do I want it to be a points-based rubric or a percentage-based rubric? And then I can choose to, if I wanted points-based, I could then regenerate it, right? I changed it to a points-based rubric. It's going to pull directly from that prompt and put the rubric here for me. Now, when it goes back through that process, it's going to redo the columns. I didn't change the columns, I didn't change the rows, and I didn't change the complexity. But you notice now that the high point is 4. So now it would be a total of 16 points would be the points possible. And if that's the case, if I wanted to create this rubric and I like this rubric, I would click on continue. It would then take me to the full rubric page where I could come up and give it that rubric a name and call it, UDL discussion rubric, right? If that's what I wanted. But even better, now I can come in and say, you know what, I kind of like this, but I want to edit this stuff. I need to edit some of these criterion names. I also want to edit, what the rating system is and what they mean. So they have the real good feedback, right? So what does exceptional mean? How can a student get exceptional in this discussion? And so I might want to edit some of that. But when I'm ready, I would just hit save. And then if I look here, I can choose once I'm done to add that rubric to this particular assignment. So I check it and just choose add, and it will add that rubric and reassign the points for this particular assignment. It did all that in the space of a handful, like 2 or 3 minutes. So there's some benefits here. I'm not asking you or we're not asking you to have an AI take over your course. I think in many ways that would do you a disservice and the students a disservice. So what I think of when I think of using AI, at least from the instructor standpoint, is finding ways to make my teaching a little bit more efficient, finding ways for me to concentrate on the engagement, finding ways for me to concentrating on providing quality feedback, finding ways for me to concentrate on communicating with my students so that I can spend less time with this. So this is yet again another tool in the AI Design Assistant that you can use, and it's the automatic rubric generation. Hope you liked it. Hope you have a great week getting into the next module in the course. Remember, it's going to be due April 7th. It's Module 2, Ethical Considerations in Generative AI. We're looking forward to seeing your posts. Please continue to submit your stuff. I know some of you are behind, and that's okay. We're not going to take away your birthday, but we do encourage you to get in there and start posting and all that stuff so we can make sure you earn your certification. Thanks a lot. We hope you have a great week, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.